First, let's start with why 2025 matters so much. Historically, Bitcoin follows a 4-year cycle tied to its halving events, moments when the Bitcoin block rewards are cut in half, reducing new supply. The next halving took place in 2024, and the months that follow are when the real magic happens. Every previous halving 2012, 2016, and 2020 was followed by a massive bull run roughly 12 to 18 months later. That puts us right on track for a potential blow-off top in late 2025 or early 2026. This is the window where millionaires are made, not because of hype, but because of strategic positioning before the storm hits. My plan isn't about chasing coins after they've pumped, it's about identifying projects now, while they're quiet, before retail floods in. The first step in my plan is what I call the foundation phase, the Bitcoin anchor. Before touching any altcoins, I make sure that at least 40% of my portfolio is anchored in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why? Because these two assets act like the blue chip stocks of the crypto world. They're not going to 10X or PT overnight, but they provide stability, liquidity, and safety. Bitcoin gives me exposure to the overall market trend. If Bitcoin goes up, the entire crypto space generally follows. Ethereum, on the other hand, gives exposure to the innovation layer DeFi, NFTs, and all the smart contract ecosystems that power new altcoins. Together, they form my safety net. So even if I make risky altcoin plays, I know the foundation of my portfolio is solid. Once my base is secure, I move to phase 2, the 10X Altcoin strategy. This is where things get exciting. The goal here is not to find the next dog coin or random meme project, it's to identify fundamentally strong altcoins with asymmetric upside. What does that mean? It means finding projects that can give a 10x return without needing the entire market to go insane. In 2025, I'm targeting 5 main sectors that I believe will dominate the narrative. 1. AI and blockchain integration projects that merge artificial intelligence with decentralized computing, like Fetch, Singularity, and Ocean Protocol. To real-world assets through WA tokens that bring traditional assets like real estate, gold, and stocks on chain, such as Ondo, Centrifuge, or Polemias. 3. DeFi 2.0 protocols, platforms that fix the flaws of old DeFi systems, offering real yield and sustainability instead of pure speculation. For gaming and metaverse coins, the rise of Web3 gaming is inevitable, and projects like Immutable, Gala, and Beam could become household names if adoption accelerates. 5. Layer to scaling solutions, networks like Arbitrum, Skyking, and Base that solve Ethereum's congestion problem will see explosive growth as on-chain activity increases. Each of these sectors has multi-billion-dollar potential, but the key is entering before the crowd. To find the right projects, I use a simple 3-step filter: technology, tokenomics, and team. I analyze whether the tech solves a real problem, whether the tokenomics create real demand, and whether the team is transparent, consistent, and backed by strong partnerships. For beginners, this framework is simple but powerful. It keeps you focused on quality, not hype. Now, my accumulation strategy is all about timing. The worst mistake new investors make is going all in at once. My plan involves dollar cost averaging DCA, buying small amounts regularly, regardless of short-term price moves. During early 2025, when the market is still uncertain, I'll be accumulating my favorite altcoins quietly, while everyone else is still afraid. Then, when Bitcoin starts breaking key resistance levels, say 10x or beyond, that's usually when altcoins begin to run. This is when the 10x opportunities emerge. The trick is to already be in position, not to chase green candles, but to ride a wave I prepared for months earlier. Next comes risk management, the part most beginners ignore until it's too late. My rule is simple: never invest more than you can afford to lose, and always take profits on the way up. I set clear exit targets. For example, if a coin 5x's, I pull out my initial investment and let the profits ride. That way, even if the market reverses, I'm still in profit. I also use portfolio rotation, which means when one sector overheats, say AI coins pump massively, I take some profits there and move them into undervalued sectors like DeFi or gaming. This keeps my money compounding while minimizing downside exposure. Remember, the goal isn't to win every trade, it's to stay in the game long enough to win big when it matters most. Another crucial part of my plan is understanding market psychology. Crypto isn't just charts and numbers, it's emotion and behavior. In every bull market, we see the same pattern: disbelief, optimism, euphoria, and finally denial. My goal is to buy during disbelief and sell during euphoria. When everyone says crypto is dead, that's when I'm accumulating. When your Baba or Uber driver starts talking about their favorite meme coin, that's when I start selling. In 2021, the mistake most people made was getting emotionally attached. They believe this time is different. In 2025, I'm focusing purely on data and discipline. No emotions, no hype, just logic and exit plans. But here's something that separates investors from traders: long-term conviction. The truth is, the biggest profits come to those who can hold through volatility. If you look back, Bitcoin crashed 80% multiple times, yet each time, it came back stronger. Altcoins are even more brutal. Some crash 90% before going up 5 or so. The key is to only hold projects that you truly understand and believe in. That's why my research never stops. I stay updated on development updates, ecosystem growth, token unlocks, and regulatory changes. The more I know, the less I fear. Speaking of regulation, that's going to be a major factor in 20 with it. Governments worldwide are tightening crypto laws, but rather than seeing that as negative, I view it as a sign of maturity. Regulation brings institutional money, and institutional money brings scale. So part of my plan includes watching which projects comply early, because those are the ones likely to survive and thrive long term. Coins like Chainlink, Polygon, and Avalanche are positioning themselves as compliant, scalable ecosystems ready for mass adoption. Those are the types of plays that make sense for both beginners and experienced investors. Now, let's talk about capital allocation, how I distribute my investments. As I said earlier, 40% goes to Bitcoin and Ethereum for safety. Then, 40% goes to my top 5-7 high-conviction altcoins across different sectors. The remaining 20% is my high-risk, high-reward fund meme coins, micro-caps, early launch projects, or IDOs that could explode. This is where I take calculated risks, because in every bull market, there are always a few coins that go tens or PT. I don't expect all of them to win, but if even one or two do, it changes everything. Remember, wealth in crypto isn't about being right all the time, it's about letting your winners run and cutting losers early. Another pillar of my 2025 plan is staying liquid. Cash is power in crypto. Most people go all in and have nothing left when the best buying opportunities appear. I always keep at least 10% of my portfolio in stable counters like USDT or USDC. This lets me buy dips aggressively, join early token sales, or stake for passive income. Speaking of passive income, staking and yield farming are underrated tools for wealth building. If I can earn 10% APY on my idle assets, that compounds massively over time, and that's how millionaires are quietly made. But even the best strategy fails without discipline. So I have a simple rule: I treat my crypto like a business. Every week I review my positions, check my portfolio allocations, read updates from project teams, and set stop-loss levels. I document every trade and decision in a journal. Why? Because what gets measured gets managed. Beginners often skip this step, they invest randomly and hope for luck. My plan removes luck entirely and replaces it with structure. Education is also part of my plan. I dedicate time every month to learning, whether it's tokenomics, chart analysis, or blockchain development trends. The more you understand, the earlier you can spot opportunities others miss. In 2017, the smart money was early to ecos. In 2021, they were early to DeFi and Ethereum. In 2025, the winners will be early to AI, blockchain integration, RUAs, and cross-chain ecosystems. If you're learning now, you're already ahead of 90% of retail investors. So how does this plan turn into millions? Let's do a simple example. Let's say you start with a 10,000 portfolio. You put 4,000 in Bitcoin and Ethereum for safety, 4,000 across 6 altcoins you've researched well, and 2,000 in microcap plays or new projects. If the overall market follows historical patterns and grows 5x from current levels, Bitcoin might 3x, Ethereum might 4x, your strong altcoins could 10x, and 1 or 2 microcaps might even 5 or so. That portfolio could easily grow from 10,000 to 150,000 with 100,000 in a single bull run. Now imagine compounding that over several cycles with disciplined profit taking. That's how generational wealth is built in crypto. But here's the twist: I'm not in this just for the money. I believe crypto represents the future of financial freedom. The ability to control your assets without a middleman, to participate in a borderless economy, to earn yield without banks, that's revolutionary. Making millions is the byproduct of being early and believing in a decentralized world when others doubt it. That's why, even when the market crashes or the news turns bearish, I stick to my plan. Because success in crypto is about conviction through chaos. And finally, let's talk about exit strategy, the most important part of making and keeping wealth. My plan is clear: as my portfolio multiplies, I take profits in stages. At 5x, I secure my initial capital. At 10x, I begin converting some profits into stable counters or real-world assets like property or stocks. This ensures I'm not just rich on paper, but in reality. Too many people in 2021 became crypto millionaires on paper, only to lose it all because they never took profits. My plan focuses equally on making money and keeping it. Because real wealth isn't measured in how high your portfolio goes, it's in how much you keep when the cycle resets. So, to sum it up, my plan to make millions in crypto in 2025 revolves around 6 pillars: foundation in Bitcoin and Ethereum, a 10x Altcoin strategy focused on key sectors, disciplined accumulation and DCA, strong risk management and profit-taking, continuous education, and emotional control. In not trying to time the top or bottom, in playing the long game with conviction, research, and patience. The next bull run won't just reward those who believe, it will reward those who prepare. And if you start building your plan today, not tomorrow, 2025 could be the year that changes your financial future forever. So don't chase hype, chase knowledge. Don't follow influencers, follow data. And remember, the best time to prepare for a bull run is when no one else is paying attention. That's exactly what I'm doing, quietly, strategically, and confidently, because the opportunity of a lifetime doesn't announce itself. It's built one smart decision at a time.